Okay, so now let's derive the mathematical relation between surface energy and tension. Okay, so let's do this derivation. So before jumping into this derivation, I want you guys to understand this diagram. So basically, what is happening here? This P, S, uh, this R bar, and Q bar. Okay, this R dash and Q dash. So this area, this whole area from S to S dash, this area is fixed. Again, this area from P to S, this is also fixed. And again, this area from P to Q dash and P dash, this area is fixed. Okay, what does fixed mean? That means that it is not moving anywhere. Okay, now, like you guys might have seen while anyone is washing the utensils, or you guys might have also washed the utensils, right? So while washing the utensils, you might have seen that most of the times what we just apply a layer of soap on the utensils and keep it in the side. Okay, we keep it on the side. We apply the layer of soap and we keep it on the side, and then we collectively wash all of the utensils, right? So now, like you might have seen that whenever someone, your mom or like anyone, like maybe some house help or anyone, so when she or he is washing the dishes, or even if your father is washing the dishes, what he does is that he stacks all the utensils on one another. Okay, he stacks each and every utensils on one another. And because as we know that this soap, what does this soap do? This soap, it reduces the surface tension. So because this soap is reducing the surface tension, what will happen? The utensil starts to slide away. They start to slip away, right? So now this similar concept is going to be applied here. So what we are going to do? We are going to put this like this frame inside a soaped water. Okay, we are going to dump this frame, or this consider this as a utensil. So we are going to dump this frame inside a soap water. So what will happen? This soap water, it has all the bubbles and everything, right? एकदम बुडबुड आहेत, साबणाचे बुडबुड आहेत पूर्णतः याच्यामध्ये. तुम्ही विम बार लावलाय आणि मग विम बारच्या पाण्यामध्ये तुम्ही विम विम लिक्विडच्या पाण्यामध्ये तुम्ही त्याला डिप केलंय. ओके, सो नाव व्हॉट हॅपन्स व्हेन यू आर डिपिंग दिस, a layer of soap will be formed on the surface, right? A layer of the soap will be formed on the surface. Now in this diagram, as you can see, this Q and R bar, or Q and R dash, this line, it is not fixed. Okay, this line is not fixed. That line is movable. This Q and R dash line is movable. So now when we are applying this layer of soap on this frame, what is happening? This Q and R dash line, it is being pulled inward. So this Q and R dash, Q dash and R dash line, it moves inward, and now it goes to this position, which is Q and R. Okay, understood? Because the soap layer is applied, because it reduces the surface tension, it is being pulled inward. So this Q and R dash line, it is being pulled inward, and then we can see that it moves to a position called Q and R, as you can see in this diagram. Okay, why this is happening? Because this soap, it tends to reduce the surface tension. So that's why this movable arm, it is moving inward. Okay, as you can see. So now let's assume that the length of this movable wire or arm, this length of this movable wire is L. Okay, let this QR, sorry, let this QR, let it be L. Okay, what is this? This is the length of the movable wire QR. Okay, now as you can see, so like whenever you dip a utensil, or whenever you are dipping a plate, what will happen? That the soaps layer will be applied on the front side and the back side, right? Two surfaces the soap will be applied. So similar thing will happen here also. On two surfaces, this soap film will be generated. Okay, on two surfaces, this soap film will be generated. Okay, so now this tension, this surface tension, it will act along both surfaces. Okay, it will act along both surfaces. So now we can write this total inward force, now we can write this total inward force acting on wire as, I will just add one slide, or should I write here only? Okay, I will write here only. Okay, so the total inward force, I think I should change the pen color. Total inward inward force acting on wire is F is equal to 2TL. Okay, so the total inward force acting on the wire is F is equal to 2TL. Okay, so now let's assume that this wire, this QR wire, now it has been pulled inward due to surface tension, right? So now what if we apply an equal and opposite force on this wire, and what happen if I pull this wire outside? Just imagine that I am pulling this outside wire outside. So what will happen? Small work will be done, right? Small work will be done. So now we can write the small amount of work done as the small amount of work done is written as okay. So now what we can do? Can we substitute this F in this equation? Yes, we can substitute. So now we are just going to substitute this F in this equation. Okay. So now we can write dW is equal to 2TL dx. Okay. We can write dW is equal to 2TL dx. Okay. So now when this wire, it moves by the distance dx, the area of the surface will increase by L dx. Okay, when the wire will move the distance dx, the area of the surface will increase by L dx. Okay, so now since I told before that this soap film, it is this soap film, it is generated on two surfaces, right? This soap film, it is generated on two surfaces, so the total area will increase by 2, right? So we can write as dA is equal to 2TL dx. Okay, why we wrote this? Because the soap film is on two surfaces, so the total area will increase, right? And it can be written as dA is equal to 2L dx. Okay, so now what we are going to do? We are going to substitute. Okay, so now we are going to substitute this in this equation. So we can write dW is equal to, substitute this 2TL dx. This is written as 2TL dx, right? So we can write this as dA, right? So now we can write as dW is equal to T D A. Okay. Okay, understood? Okay, wait, huh? This is not T. Here, T is not there. dA is 2 LDX, right? Why we wrote 2 LDX? You know, right? You know, right, na? Why we are writing 2 LDX? Because when the wire moves by distance dx, the area of the surface will increase by LDX. So, because there are two surfaces, so that's why we are increasing, that's why we are multiplying it with 2. Okay, so this is the increase in surface area and we are multiplying it with 2 because there are two surfaces. Now then we are substituting this dA in dW. Okay, so now we wrote that dW is equal to TdA. Okay, so this is the work done in stretching the soap fill. Okay, so now this work done in stretching this soap film, it is stored in the film as potential energy. Okay, so the stored energy is called as, the stored energy is called as surface energy. So now we can write it as dW is equal to du is equal to TdA. Okay, or you can write it as T is equal to du by dA. Okay, so what does this show? This show that surface tension is numerically equal to surface energy per unit increase in surface area. Okay, I hope you understood this derivation. It was a very easy derivation. Now we are going to just write this down and then we are going to solve a numerical. Write it down. Okay, so I hope this is done. Now let's solve this numerical. Okay, so I will read out the question. Calculate the work done in blowing a soap bubble to a radius of 1 centimeter. The surface tension of soap solution is 2.5 into 10 to the power 2 Newton per meter. Okay, so now we have to calculate the work done. Okay, but now this again this soap bubble has two surfaces, right? Outer and inner. So we must consider both while calculating the work done. Okay. So now initially the bubble is absent initially, right? As you can see in this question, the bubble is absent initially, so the initial radius will be 0. Okay, and the surface area will also be 0. Now we have to calculate the final radius. So I will just okay. So this is the surface energy formula, T into delta A. Okay, so so now we are going to write final radius. So final radius r is equal to 1 centimeter, which we can write as 0.001 meter. Okay. Now the surface area of one sphere. What is the surface area of one sphere? Surface area, because this is bubble, right? So we are considering the surface area of one sphere. So what is the surface area of one sphere? Because it is bubble, we are considering sphere, and the surface area of one sphere is 4 pi r square. So now again, as I told before, that this soap bubble, it has two surfaces. It has two surfaces. So we can write the final area as 2 into 4 pi r square. So we can simply write this as 8 pi r square. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to just substitute this value of r in this equation. So substituting r, we will get final area delta A is equal to 8 into pi into 0.0. Sorry, I wrote 0.001. It is 0.01. You can also make these mistakes like me, so please try to see it. So 1 centimeter is 0.01 meter. Okay. So 8 into pi into 0.01 square. Okay. So calculate this. What we can write? Calculate this. So we can also write this as 8 pi into 10 to the power minus 4, right? So calculate this and tell me the values. I will write on the board eventually, but you try to calculate. Is it done? The answer will be approximately 0.00251 meter square. Okay. So this is the final area. Understood? Now what we have to do? What we have to do? We have to calculate the work done, right? We have to calculate work done. So now work done. Work done. W is equal to T dA or T delta A. Okay. You can write any one of this. So let's say we are writing TDA. Okay. So now we know the value of t is already given in the question. So substitute that value. So what is the value? 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 into, we know dA, it is 0.002514. Multiply this. You will get something 6.285 into 10 to the power minus 5 joules. Okay. So this is the work done. Write this down. Okay. So I hope that this question is done. Now, uh, huh. Let's study this, what is meniscus and what is meniscus, like what is concave meniscus and what is curved meniscus. Okay. So now whenever a liquid surface it meets a solid surface whenever there is interaction between a liquid and solid atoms, then it forms a meniscus. Okay, so depending on what the solid is, it decides if the meniscus will be convex or concave. Okay, so for you to get this understanding, I will tell you. So let's consider the example of water. Okay, so now this water, if you have seen, whenever the water droplets they land on the floor, or whenever the droplets land on any surface, you can see that, let's consider if this is the surface. I hope you are able to see this. Okay, so like let's consider that if this is the surface, then the water droplets will look like this. The water droplet will look like this, okay, on the surface. So now the angle, which we can see, the angle between this, so the angle between these two surfaces, I'm sorry, I don't know why, I will just write it with one pen. So the angle from this surface to this water droplet, it will be an acute angle. Okay, so now this water drop, it makes an acute angle. Acute angle. And whenever this liquid, it makes an acute angle with the surface, the meniscus is concave. The meniscus is concave. So what does concave meniscus means? Means let's just imagine that this is one container. Okay, so now the liquid, it will look like this. The liquid will look like this. So when the liquid is like this, it is called as concave meniscus. As you can see, this liquid, it is like this, right? So this is a concave meniscus. Okay, why it is a concave meniscus? Because the liquid partially wets the solid surface. Okay, so whenever the liquid makes an acute angle with the surface, the meniscus is concave. Okay, now for the elements or liquids like mercury, what happens? Now this mercury, it doesn't appear like this. The mercury, it tries to make the least amount of contact with the surface. So this mercury, as you can see in this water droplet, it is making like large amount of contact with the surface. But in mercury, it doesn't make this amount of contact with the surface. So imagine that this is the surface. So this mercury drop, this mercury drop, alright, it will be like, it will look like this. So if you see a mercury drop, it will look like this. Okay, so it will try to maintain least amount of contact with the surface. Okay, so because of this, the angle the angle the angle array the angle will be obtuse angle, okay, because it is maintaining least amount of contact. So this angle will be obtuse angle, and when the angle between the surface and the liquid is obtuse, then the meniscus will be convex. Okay, so like this mercury drop, it appears like it is elevated from the surface. Okay, like if you have seen mercury, I don't know if you guys have seen mercury, but I guess you might have seen mercury. So whenever you play with that mercury, if you have taken it in your hand, or if you have seen it on the surface, you can see that this mercury drop, it does not wet the surface. So this is the property of like when this drop or when this liquid, it makes an obtuse angle, these liquids, they do not wet the surface. So as you can see that the mercury, it doesn't wet the surface, and like this liquid like mercury, it doesn't even create an impression. Okay, so this is the property. So when like I hope you understood that when liquids make an acute angle, then the meniscus is concave, and when liquids make an obtuse angle, then the meniscus is convex. As you can see here, it is like this. So the meniscus is like this. So if this is the container, then the liquid will appear like this. Okay, downward, like downward direction. Okay, so I hope that you understood this. Acute angle of contact, concave meniscus. Obtuse angle of contact, convex meniscus. Okay, so now before understanding this in depth, there is one property of sphere. Okay, so this is one property of sphere, that the tangent, let's consider this is a sphere. So if you're drawing a tangent to the sphere, the angle between the radius and the tangent should be 90 degree. Okay, if you are drawing a tangent to the sphere, the angle between the radius and the tangent will be 90 degree. Okay, so this is the property of sphere, you should remember this. Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. So now we are going to study about this concave meniscus. Okay, so like as you can see this diagram, but I will draw a one more easier diagram that you can understand well. So now this color is not working. Okay. So imagine that this is the container, and now these are the liquid droplets inside this container. Okay, so now what will happen? Let's consider this droplet. Okay, so now for these droplets, what will happen? These molecules, they will try to pull this droplet here. These molecules, they will try to like pull this droplet here. Again, this will try to pull this here, and again these molecules will also try to pull it. So what will be the net cohesive force? Where will be the net cohesive force? It will be in between, right? This will be the net in the bit. In this between, we can draw this net cohesive force, right? This net cohesive force will be in between all of these forces. Okay. So now this is the net cohesive force which will be applied. Okay. And now let's say that this container, it has this solid layer, right? This is a layer of solid. Okay, so now this molecule, it is in contact with the solid molecules. This liquid molecule, it is in contact with the solid molecule. So here, okay, let this color only. So these molecules will be in contact with these liquid molecules, right? So now from this we can say that the resultant of adhesive force is here. Okay, the resultant adhesive force is here. Okay, downside you can see the resultant of cohesive force, and here you can see the resultant of adhesive force. Okay, the solid molecule, as you can see, is in direct contact. Okay, now I will write it down here. So the net adhesive force is Fa, and the net cohesive force is Fc. Okay, so now we are seeing this condition for concave meniscus. For concave meniscus. So for concave meniscus, the magnitude of adhesive force is greater than the magnitude of cohesive force. Magnitude of adhesive force is greater than magnitude of cohesive force. So now we can write Fa is greater than Fc. Okay. So now because this is concave meniscus, so now this container, here the liquid molecules will look like this. Okay, it will form a concave shape. Okay, so now here is the resultant adhesive force. Here is the, so now as I told that the magnitude of cohesive force is less, so we will draw this cohesive force here. Okay, because it is less, and then we will get resultant somewhere here. Okay, this is the resultant. So now we are going to draw a 90 degree. We are going to draw 90 degree. Okay, so we are drawing this 90 degree tangent. Okay, so this tangent, because it is 90 degree, this meniscus is concave. Understood? First what we did, we saw that this is the adhesive force, this is the cohesive force. Adhesive force is more in concave meniscus than cohesive force. So we calculated this resultant, and then we draw this 90 degree tangent, and like as you can see, as this tangent is 90 degree, because of this, this meniscus is concave. Okay, and this is the definition of surface tension, right? As surface tension told us that the molecules will be across the tangent. Okay, okay, so I will just read this out. Here you can see the adhesive force is so large that the net force AR is directed into the solid. Okay, so what I just explained, I just explained this diagram. So this was the diagram which I explained to you earlier. Okay, so this, when you look at this diagram, you might feel that this is a very complicated diagram. So I explain it in an easier manner. Okay, so this is basically what this diagram is trying to. Okay. So now let's see convex meniscus or obtuse angle of contact. Okay, so before we saw convex, right? Acute angle of contact. Sorry, before we saw concave, which is acute angle of contact, and now we are going to see convex meniscus, which is obtuse angle of contact. Okay, so again for this, I will draw a simpler diagram. For this, I am not going to draw much. See, these are just some explanations. Are these explanation too much important? So we can say that these are like medium important. These are just explanation trying to like help you understand that why exactly the liquid is like the way it is. Okay, so this is the name of the chapter, right? Mechanical properties of fluids. So we are trying to understand these fluids in depth. So like what while you are seeing that liquid with your naked eye, you won't notice so many of things, right? Obviously we can't notice this, but this is, you should understand that this is the principle behind that liquid. Okay, so now let's see about the convex meniscus. So now as for this concave meniscus, it was adhesive force was greater than cohesive force. So now here exactly opposite this there. So first let me draw. So this is, let's say, the container. So here cohesive force is greater than adhesive force. Okay, so FA is greater than FC. Okay, sorry, FC is greater than FA. Okay, so now again for this, uh, the cohesive force is greater. Okay, so now this will be like this. Before the cohesive force was less, so we draw it a bit inward. But now the cohesive force is more. The magnitude of the cohesive force is more, so we draw it bit outward. Okay, then the adhesive force, it will be FA. This is FC. Okay, and now the resultant will be somewhere here. Okay, and now we have to draw this tangent, which is 90 degree. So it will be like this. So as you can see, this tangent is 90 degree. So this is exactly from here also the tangent will be like this, 90 degree. So this is how exactly the convex meniscus will be. Okay, so this is exactly proving this, what we are actually proving. We are proving the how the convex meniscus is formed. Okay, so now I hope you understood how the convex meniscus is formed. Now the zero angle of contact and the 90 degree condition. Okay, so now what we are going to see, we are going to see basically an ideal condition. We are going to basically see this ideal condition. Okay, so now like what is this ideal condition? Basically the condition in which the liquid has no cohesive force. Liquid has no cohesive force. Okay, liquid has no cohesive force. So now this ideal condition, it happens for the liquid which completely wet the surface. Completely wet the surface. So now like if I draw this diagram and I will show you. So in this, as I told, that there is no cohesive force. So now as usual the adhesive force will be outward, right? And as there is only adhesive force, the resultant will be also in this direction. The resultant will also be same. So Fa we can write as is equal to R. Okay. So now we have to draw 90-degree tangent, right? So when we draw this 90-degree tangent, so now as you can see that the angle theta, it will be 0. Okay. So this will this condition will occur for pure water. Okay. So pure water, it completely wets the surface. So now we are going to see the last case, which is the fourth case. This case is basically generalization of all of the three cases. So I will write it here only. So now in this case, the cohesive force will be of angle 45 degree. And the magnitude of both the forces will be same. So that's why Fa will be equal to Fc. So now we can draw this. This is Fa. This is Fc. Okay, and then this will be the resultant. We'll draw it with another pen. This will be the resultant. So now we are going to consider this separately. Okay, so let's say that this is A. Array. This color is not visible. Let's say that this is A. Okay, this is R and this is C. Let's say P. Okay, so now we are going to just shift this vector here. Okay, we are going to put this AP here. So we can write this as A P C. Okay, so this is basically the resultant, and this is a okay. So now what is sine 45? We can write sine as opposite upon hypotenuse. Right. So we can write sine 45 as AP upon AC. Okay. Opposite upon hypotenuse. So now we know that sine 45 is root 2. Okay. So we can write sorry, this is a bit confusing, but I'm going to write it here only. So before sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So just put this in this equation. So we can write AP is equal to AC. Okay. So this is the general equation. So now let's say that if the adhesive force is greater, okay, I will just rub this part. Can I erase this with this? Great. So what I was saying, uh, if adhesive force is greater, then we can write AP is greater than AC by root 2. Okay. Similarly, and if adhesive force is greater, then it is a concave meniscus. So similarly, if cohesive force is greater, I am writing F instead of force. Then AP is less than AC by root 2, and this will be convex meniscus. So what happens in a convex meniscus? Liquid doesn't wet the surface, doesn't wet, like mercury. Okay. So write down these conditions. So like if you have seen these waterproofing agents, right? There are some waterproofing agents which we spray on the fabrics. So how does this waterproofing agents work? So basically, these waterproofing agents, they try to reduce the adhesive force. As you can see that they try to reduce the adhesive force. Okay. So this case. So they try to reduce the adhesive force. So in this case, waterproofing agents, the cohesive force is greater, and because the adhesive force is less, the cohesive force is greater, then it will form convex meniscus, and this is how the liquid will not wet the surface. That's why this is that's why that is a waterproofing agent. Okay, that's why it is proofing, like it is protecting that surface from water, because it is not like it is not wetting the surface. So because of this, if you have seen that if the waterproofing layer is applied, the water, it will roll down. It will not stick on the surface. It will roll down. I hope you understood. Okay. So now let's solve numericals. Hmm. So I hope that you have written this. Let me just check the volume once. Okay, so I will read out the question. "27 droplets of water, each of radius 0.1 millimeter, coils into a single drop. Find the change in surface energy. Surface tension of water is 0.072 Newton per meter." So now when the droplets will combine, the total volume will remain same. Okay. Wow, I just created this duplicate slide, I guess. The total volume will remain same. So if each droplet it has radius r and a large drop has radius capital R, then we can write this as n into 4 by 3 pi r cube is equal to okay. So this is the radius for small droplet and the capital R is radius for large drop. So now this we will cancel, right? So we can write as R is equal to n 1 by 3 smaller. So now here n is 27. So we can write as R is equal to 27 1 by 3 R. So we know that cube root of 27 is 3. So we can write 3R. So R is 3R. Okay. So now we are going to write the initial surface area of 27 droplets. Okay. So the initial surface area of 27 droplets can be written as 27 into 4 pi r square. Okay. And then the final surface area we can write as 4 pi r square. Okay. So del A is equal to AI minus AF. So we can write as 4 pi minus, okay. Okay, so now we are going to substitute R. Okay, so substituting R, we can write del A as 4 pi 27 R square minus 9 square. Okay, we have substituted the value of R. Now, since what is the value of R? Since we have R is equal to 0.1 millimeter, so we can write it as 1 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter. So therefore, delta A we can write as, just a second. Okay, so 4 pi to 18 into 4 square. Okay, so now we are going to use change in surface energy. So del U is equal to T del A is equal to 0.072 into 4 pi into 18 into 10 to the power minus 4 square. Calculate this. So the answer will be 1.628 into 10 to the power minus 7 joules. Okay. So now as you can see, since the surface area will decrease because the droplet is merging, right? So the surface energy will also decrease. So this is the total energy released to the surrounding. Write this down. Write this down. Then we will do the next concepts in the next lecture. Okay. We will solve the next other numericals in the next lecture. Okay, so is this done? I hope that this is clear. So now in this lecture, we studied about this meniscus. What is concave meniscus, convex meniscus? What is zero angle of contact and angle of contact? What is 90-degree angle of contact? Okay. So I hope you understood all of this. So in the next lecture, we will study the further concepts and we will solve more numericals. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you.